Let's get started. Let's get started, man. Wow. What a day. We had a little snow. It was a crazy day. But we are going to get started here with today's podcast. So I'm about to queue up here on Spotify. We're going to get rolling. I'm live on YouTube. So, let's do it, man. Let's make it happen, man. What's up, gang? How you guys doing? It is Lieutenant Sal Blue, 28-year law enforcement veteran and the author of the top 25 mistakes en route to the good life. Listen, now you know, guys, that I'm running a special right now. I'm running a special on my book. I am giving it away, $9.95. You guys pay the shipping. Just hop on over to lieutenantsalblue.com. Pick up your copy today. I'm also running a super bonus to anybody who gives me a podcast idea that I use on the air. I'm giving you a free copy of my book, and I'm paying for the shipping. That's right. That is how important and how valuable I believe that my podcast ideas are to help people to have a better life. So that is what I'm doing, guys. I'm putting it all out there. And listen, and if you guys have not read my book yet, man, get your copy today, man. Go on Amazon, pick it up $19.95, or head on over to my website, pick it up, get your copy of my book, and you guys will see, man, that it is a lot of good instruction in there for you guys not to make some of the same mistakes that I made. I tell people all the time, I don't have all the answers. And it is okay, because I'm constantly learning and growing. And anybody who tells you they have all the answers, man, it must be their last day of life, because they are full of crap, man. Nobody has all the answers, man. We die not having all the answers, but that's okay. That's okay. You don't need all the answers. You just need enough important answers to guide you in the right direction so that you can have a good life. So let's get into today's podcast, man. Let's get into it, because I'm excited about today's podcast. Because my question for you guys today, my question is, have you ever felt that you are saying too much? Wow. Listen, I'm going to tell you right now, I have felt that a whole lot these days. A whole lot. I just feel like I am talking way too much. I'm saying too much, man. You know, I want to be stoic. I try to be stoic, but I talk too much. Right? I talk too much. And I just feel like I'm saying too much sometimes. And, you know, when you ask yourself that question, I'm going to give you the answer. You are probably right. That's right. You're probably right. See, when you think you're saying too much, you're probably saying too much. And it is just, sometimes if you got a pretty good intuition, it is going to start giving you vibes, especially of the people that you are around, that maybe you are just talking a little too much, and that the people you're talking to probably don't truly care about too much of what you're talking about. So understand that. Right? Understand that. And I know that's a blow to a lot of you blabbermouths out there. But listen, sometimes, man, you got to start to withdraw and say a whole lot less. And we'll get into that. And we'll talk about the reasons why you need to do that. You know, because I feel it is critical for you to know why you're doing what you're doing. Right? Just don't do things arbitrarily. So now, I want you guys to know, right? Now, most of my life, I have been brought up by my mother, right? My mother, who always asked me to say what's on my mind, right? But as I got older, I began to realize that I was the only one doing all the talking, right? I was the only one doing all the sharing. So as a person who is the only one doing all the sharing, as I got older, what I realized is that inadvertently, or I don't know, maybe purposely, right? I was being trained to give up my power by saying too much. Now you heard that, and that is powerful. And I want you guys to know, if you are training your kids to say a whole lot, that you need to teach them situations when they should be saying a whole lot, and situations when they should not be saying a whole lot. So understand that. You shouldn't always be running your mouth, and you shouldn't always be talking. But anyway, we're going to go a little further into this whole philosophy of mine, right? Now, I want to say this, right? As a person who was giving up his power and saying too much, discontinued throughout my adulthood and into my career as a law enforcement officer. So as a law enforcement officer, I said too much, right? I was saying far too much. And then one day it happened, man. One day it happened. Miraculously happened in my life, right? My mentor told me 4 valuable words that gave me back my power and helped me to increase it as I continue throughout my career. Now, I am sure you guys want to know those 4 valuable words, and I'm going to reveal them to you right now. I'm not even going to hold out on those 4 valuable words because I think those words were the most powerful thing that was ever said to me in my entire life. So what are those 4 valuable words? Shut the fuck up. Yes, that's right, man. That's right. My mentor told me to shut the fuck up. Right? And it was powerful. And it took me by storm and it shocked me, right? It shocked me. And this is what my mentor yelled as I was a frequent sufferer of diarrhea of the mouth, man. I was a frequent sufferer. I just said too much. I talked too much. I revealed too much. And that was how I was going about my career because that's what I was brought up as and that's what I was taught. And he shut me down. He shut me down immediately. Now, he told me that I needed to learn the art of saying less than necessary. Now, I know that a lot of people get into the fact that I'm trying to keep secrets when I'm saying less than. I'm not trying to keep secrets, and I'm not trying to not give out facts, right? I'm not trying to not give out facts. If situations happen, I put all the facts on the table. This is the fact, that is the fact. I'm an excellent report writer when it comes to doing my job and understanding what I'm supposed to do and how I did it, right? So I was an excellent writer when it came to that. But what he told me was learn the art of saying less than necessary. Now, if you were, and he told me this, right? Listen, he said, if you are ever going to command the power and respect that you deserve, right, by impressing your peers and subordinates while intimidating your enemies, right, you will have to start by saying less. And I didn't get that at first. I didn't get that at first, man. I had difficulty absorbing that philosophy, that fact, right? Because I'm not gonna lie, I felt that I needed to give a lot of information about a lot of things, and if I was trying to intimidate my enemy, I felt like I needed to talk about it a lot, right? In order to get them to do what I wanted. So understand this, guys. When you go through life trying to impress people, and this is what I learned, right? When you go through life trying to impress people with words, understand this, right? The more you say, the more common you appear. And as an unforeseen bonus, guys, the less control you will command. Now understand that, right? So if you're controlling less, right, by saying more, then you need to begin to learn how to do the opposite. The opposite, right? And so that's what I began to do. And that's kind of how it clicked in my head, because I wasn't commanding respect. And I wasn't impressing my peers. And I wasn't intimidating my enemies, right? And so people were doing what the hell they wanted to do around me. And I needed to make a change, man. I needed to make a change. So as I slowly learned this lesson throughout my career, I realized that it applies to all aspects of life, right? It wasn't just in law enforcement that this worked to my favor, right? It worked on my behalf. It wasn't just in law enforcement. It was more than just law enforcement as I began to learn and grow, right? So it was more than that, guys. So during my career, those who talk too much, and I'm just talking about people that I was around during my career, those who talk too much always had trouble when it came to getting people to act, right? Um, they would always talk about all the things that they did, or how everything was going to go down, and all the little details of some type of detail that we were on, or all these little intricate things that, just the average person does not need to know when it comes to getting the job done. So what would happen, right? They would say to a group of officers, let's do this, right? Let's get it done. That was kind of my thing. Let's do this. Let's get it done. Let's make it happen. When I said it, when I changed in my career, people just jumped to act because we kind of understood each other. We knew each other. We knew what we all needed to do. So people would just jump to act when I said it, right? Now, when they said it, it was a difference, right? The difference was the first response that they would get from people around them was, why? Why are we doing it? People would always ask them why. And here's the deal. Here's the kicker with that, right? When you talk too much, right, people are always waiting for you to convince them with a full explanation. That's just what it is, right? So people are always looking for a full explanation of everything that you tell them to do. And they sit there and they wait for it, and they don't act immediately. And that seems to be the problem a lot of times, right? People won't act because, hey, they're saying, like, if this guy doesn't truly tell me what I need to do, then I'm going to wait until he fully explains it, because this guy's a talker, right? This guy talks. So, and that's what happens, man. People just sit back and they wait for you to explain, and they don't act. They act far less, right? Now, the power comes, guys, as you master the game of appearances, right? When you say less than necessary, you appear greater than you are. Period. It's just human instinct. When you say less than necessary, people start to fill in the blanks with what they believe, right? And if you're in a position of command or power, then they always believe the more intimidating fact, right? That you have control over them, or control over their career, control over something that they want and need and have to have. So when you say less than necessary, you appear greater than you are, man. Now, I have learned this lesson, right, through the fire of my relationship, that silence makes others uncomfortable. Right? And the funny thing is as I say this, right, my wife has mastered the art early in our relationship of silence, right? If she felt like I did something that she wasn't approving of, she wouldn't say a word. We didn't argue throughout our relationship or yell and scream. She would just do corrective measures through silence, man. Through silence. And that silence was powerful. And yes, it did. It made me feel extremely uncomfortable and start to try to figure out what was I doing wrong. And soon as I was in the mode of what was I doing wrong, that was the moment that she was in power and I was no longer in power, right? She used that silence as a tool of controlling our relationship, as opposed to arguing and yelling and nagging and so on and so forth. And listen, I'm not gonna lie, it worked very, very well. And it worked all the way up until the fact that I learned to master my emotions. So once I learned how to master my emotions, and obviously the silent treatment didn't work as well, and we had to learn how to communicate a whole lot more in our relationship, and we are better off for it. But just to let you guys know, silence is very, very powerful. Very, very powerful, and it is a tool of control, believe it or not. And a lot of people don't understand that, man, how important that is. You see, people are machines of interpretation and explanation, right? We always need to have interpretation of what is going on, so or an explanation of why, right? And they must always know what you're thinking. So if you are silent and you're not saying anything, people are wrenched with the fact of trying to figure out what the hell is going on in his mind, right? Or in my case, what the hell is going on in her mind? What is she thinking about? And so when that begins to happen, right, this is what I learned, right? I've learned that when that begins to happen, that is when you begin to gain your power, your strength, okay? And believe it or not, and I probably even say manipulation, but as long as you're not doing it to hurt people and you're doing it to your advantage, I think that manipulation is very, very important key to having a successful life, right? Sometimes you gotta help people for the greater good. So that's just me, man. I'm just telling you how I feel, and when I tell you how I feel, I like to be honest and straight, transparent when it comes to it. So I've learned to carefully control what I reveal, right, me personally, so that the people cannot pierce my intentions or meanings. And I talked about yesterday about stop revealing all the shit to your family and friends about what you're doing, because everybody's not in your corner. Everybody's not going to cheer for you. And some people may even try to bring you down. So that adds to the fact that this, which is being silent and not letting people pierce your intentions or your meanings of things that you're trying to do in your life, right? Now, I tell people this: the power of short answers and silences, right? The power of short answers and silences put people on the defensive, and it causes them, right, to feel that they need to fill your silences with comments. And I learned how powerful this was when using it throughout my career and throughout life, right? And also having it used on me time and time again. And these comments that they make and people make when to fill your silences with, they can be very useful, right? And they usually reveal a lot of information about the people that you are dealing with, as well as their weaknesses, right? Because listen, when you're trying to climb the ladder, when you're trying to do more, or you have an enemy that you are going up against, you need to know their weaknesses. You need to know their weaknesses so you can conquer them, and to have a just a way to go about things, man. But anyway, I want to tell you guys a little story about Leonardo da Vinci, right? Leonardo da Vinci, the artist. He talked about the story of an oyster, right? And I want to tell you guys about the story of an oyster real quick. And it says, he said, the oyster opens completely when the moon is full, right? And when the crab sees the oyster open, it throws a piece of stone or seaweed into the oyster so that the oyster cannot close, right? Close again, so that it serves later on for crab meat to go in and eat the meat that was the oyster. So, and they say this, that such is the fate of him who opens his mouth too much and thereby puts himself at the mercy of the listener. Now, obviously you guys know the lesson to this story is that the more you talk, the more you open your mouth, the more you are at the mercy of the people who are listening and the people who are around you, right? Because once they know everything that you're about and everything that you attend, they can devise a defense, they can devise a plan to take you down. As I told you guys over and over again, everybody is not your friend. Everybody doesn't want you to succeed, okay? And a lot of people, even though you're in a position of power, would rather, right, have somebody who is more friendly, or their friends friendly to them in a position of power. So you guys got to understand that over and over again. once the words are out, guys, once the words are out, you cannot take them back. I remember doing a class where we talked about the stone that was thrown, and I believe one of my majors talked about the toothpaste that was squeezed out of the tube. Once you squeeze it out the tube, you can't put it back, man. He said that is just like the words that are said, right? In a relationship, okay, and at work, in an event, the words that you say, you can't take it back. People remember those words forever. So I tell you guys, control your words, and be especially careful of your sarcasms. Now, I used to be a sarcastic a-hole, man. I used to be sarcastic a-hole because I thought it was witty, right? Thought it was witty, smart. You know, I was young, man. Quick with the tongue. That's what I was. Sarcasm is your enemy, guys. Sarcasm is your enemy. Be careful of your sarcasm, man. I have said words in my relationship, right? Being sarcastic and being witty, right? I've said words in my relationship that I'm still reminded of to this day, man. Sarcasm can become your enemy if you don't watch your words, if you don't choose your words correctly. So, listen, guys, that was the question of the day, and that is what I was talking about. So I want you guys to understand as you guys move forward with my daily podcast. Every day I'm going to be coming at you with a question. And every day that question is going to challenge your current beliefs in life, right? And in challenging your current beliefs in life, I want you guys to begin, okay, to say to yourself, I should challenge what I believe and question it. Just question it. Just see whether it is a solid conviction that you should be believing in, or something that someone else put in your mind, in your head, that you need to question. I know in my life, when I began to question my beliefs and things that I believed in and my philosophies, it all came back to someone else's philosophy that was placed in my mind. And so as I thought I was thinking on my own, I truly was not thinking on my own. I was just regurgitating someone else's statements and thoughts that they placed in my head for me to speak. Right? So I'm trying to get you guys to be thinkers. I'm trying to get you guys to be understanding of who you are. And by doing so, you will make far fewer mistakes in your life and have a much better life. So listen, I'm going to wrap it up for today, guys. But what I want you guys to do is make sure you hop on over to lieutenantsalblue.com. Pick up a copy of your book, man. That's me on the back there, my little biography. You can go on over to Amazon, click on Top 25 Mistakes, en route to the Good Life second edition. You can read a little bit. I think I allowed you guys to read like 4 or 5 pages of my book and just see if you like it. Also on my page, my website page, I have my audiobook. It took me about 2 weeks to do it, but you could finish it in about 4 hours if you listen to it at twice the speed. So that's exciting when I did that as well. I got some other books coming out next year, maybe even the end of this year. I might try to squeeze another book out. We'll see how it works out with the publishing and everything else. And also, man, I'll see you guys tomorrow, man. I'll see you guys tomorrow in my daily podcast. I got some things I need to do at home. So I'm going to go ahead and jump to that and jump to my business stuff that I need to do in order to wrap up this day. But I will talk to you guys later. Make sure you hop on over and check me out at social media and Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, Twitter, Facebook, Blogger, and Reddit, where I post all of my content daily and try to be as engaging as possible with all of you guys. So I will talk to you guys tomorrow. This is Lieutenant Sound Blue signing off. You guys have a great night and be safe out there. I know it's snowing a little bit, so be safe. All right, I'll talk to you later. Deuces.